Welcome to the Naked Podcast with Danni and Shanni. We are going to say the things that you are too afraid to say. We want you to tune in, listen, unwind, because we're going to be telling you the truth, the lies, and the untold stories. Buckle your seats and let's go. Hold on, let's see. Is it default? How about now?
Toya, can you hear us now?
Not with my phone ringing. Hold on. Yes, ma'am. I'm in recording my podcast and the volume not working. And look, we live on Facebook. Let me call your butt back. Goodbye. Can she hear now?
She ain't said nothing.
Okay. Toya, can you hear us? See, this is when you go live.
Yes.
Okay. Woo! Okay.
Girl, we was waiting on you.
We're gonna have to edit this out.
Okay.
But it's all good because that's the fun of going live because you see.
And she said good fix.
Good fix. See, we needed our friends. Okay.
Yes.
So let's jump right back in. So
Okay.
what we were talking about is really what is some of the things the lies that you tell yourself that keep you stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And you brought up mental health. And
Mm-hmm.
mental health is a great conversation or topic
Mm-hmm.
when we think about it, especially the Black and Brown community. And I would say that we both probably experience some level of mental distress
Mm-hmm.
through our life. So tell us what part of your mental health that has kept you stuck. What has happened? You say this has impacted my mental health, but I keep telling myself that I am good.
Okay, first, if we're gonna be honest, it's with my business. Sometimes I look at other business owners that's doing the same thing that I do, and I said, their stuff is better than mine, so maybe I should stop. Because at one point I wasn't getting orders, and I'm really hard on myself. And then I would call my friends, and they would be like, "Girl, fuck them people. You doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You got to get your bracket of people that want you, and people gonna pay for what they want to pay for."
Absolutely.
And then it's just like when my mom died, I just really couldn't face reality. So I was just stuck there for a long, long time. And to be honest with you, I'm still stuck there because I have something great that's happening for me that I'm scared to do, but I'm going to do it because I have to do it because I got kids. But I just feel like people don't talk about their mental health because they're ashamed or what other people are going to say about them and going to look at them.
Yes. So that is, I can relate, right? One of the things that I have always told myself that kept me stuck, believe it or not, is that I was never good enough. I'm working in corporate America for over 18 years. In 2018, I decided to leave corporate America because I felt like I was constantly trying to, I call it the good award club. So I was the only woman of color in the role that I was in at one point. And I constantly kept fighting to be seen, to be heard, to feel like someone was paying attention to me. And I remember my boss at that time literally said, "Hey, you could take my job if you wanted because you have more education than I do." And I said, why would you say that? And so through many, many years, when I think about it, I finally started to feel sick and I felt stuck. I remember applying for over 50 jobs. And we've talked about this where it was a constant no, you're overqualified, or I'm going to move on to the next candidate that better fits the itinerary of what they were looking for. And I really, really struggled because I felt that my identity was stuck in this job that I thought I was going to go to the top.
Right.
And I constantly questioned myself, why am I not good enough to be in that room? And I always wondered, why could I not be at that table?
Ooh, remember when I be with her friends, y'all? Hold on. When I be with her friends, because Danielle is the AKA, y'all. That's my bitch. But when I used to go around her friends, I'd be like, ooh, I don't feel like I belong here. I was like, because I was like, they would be looking down at me because I might not be as educated as them. But you know what? Them bitches is the bomb. Do you hear me? I ain't calling y'all bitches, but I love them. They make me feel good. You know what I'm saying? They make me feel good.
And I think that's important though, right? So when you realize that you are worthy enough to be at that table, you begin to pivot. And during that time of my life, my identity was so wrapped up in this job of all the accolades and the titles that I went through a deep depression. And that deep depression continued to keep me stuck, that I said to myself, I'm not good enough. I would never be good enough. And it took me a good 6 months of seeing a therapist, me really talking to people who cared about me, where I didn't feel judged. And I never talked about how that made me feel because I always was like, you know what? I'm just not good enough. And let me just keep trying to figure it out. And so what ended up happening was that I had to continue to pray, see a therapist. I started to take depression and anxiety medicine because I really just did not feel like I was good enough. And even through that time, I dealt with a lot of death. Right. I always saying, healing takes too long. And I kept telling myself, I don't want to do this. I don't want to keep doing this. So I think as I think about the things that have kept me stuck, it's definitely my mental health, but me saying that I am not good enough was one of the major things that had really kept me stuck for a very, very long time. And so I just never really thought about how to move about overcoming that. So when we think about that, what could you think of another thing besides mental health that has kept you stuck?
A nigga. A nigga will keep you stuck, baby. He will definitely keep you stuck. But we ain't got time to go down my memory lane. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. Once a man show you something, believe it. Believe it.
So what were the things that you kept telling yourself?
I can change him. I can help him.
Okay. What? So this is good. This is really good because a lot of women that I know and some that I don't know, and I'm on Facebook looking, and they're like, I can change him. I thought he loved me. He did all these amazing things for me, and I just knew that he was going to be the person for me. So, what were some of the things that you kept telling yourself during this process of dealing with this man that you could change him? Like, what made you really think that you could change him?
When you're ready to leave, they'll pull this trick and say, "Oh, you gonna leave me like everybody else did?" And then you be like, "Oh shit, I don't want to leave him. Maybe I can be the person that can help him." No, ma'am, can't help him at all. Nope. I like to help people, and I find when you're a giver, they take and they take and they take, so you don't have shit left to give. That's why I treat niggas like I treat them nowadays.
And again, you're here live on the Naked Podcast, where we tell the truth, the lies, and the untold story. And so let's dig a little deeper, right? Because you be telling some real juicy stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
And so when you say I treat guys the way that I treat them,
right?
How do you treat them? Because what if you miss your blessing because you're so busy trying to protect your feelings and your emotions, and you don't have the ability to see what God is sending you when it comes to a man?
So when I talked to my therapist about this same thing the other day, if a man is for me, he gonna come get me. I don't need you to keep texting me what I'm doing or just bothering me on some day to day about no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody has their own lives that they got going on, and I can't fix a man and try to fix my own life. I gotta worry about myself, and when he sends who I need, we gonna come together. But yeah, I don't put too much into a man no more because I gotta put everything I got into me and my kids.
So would you say that goes back to you really being able to tell yourself that you were worthy? Because maybe you was telling yourself that you wasn't worthy, right?
Yeah.
So I remember the times that when I first met you, and I think we briefly talked about this on episode 1, where we talked about the many masks that we wear. And so meeting you, Shantice, I remember there was times where you had this wall up, and you were like, I got this. And I would say that was one thing that kept you stuck, is that you kept saying, I got this, I'm gonna figure this out. But I really think it was because you was wearing a mask, but you kept telling yourself lies to believe that whatever feelings was happening, you were going to be okay. What would you say about that? Would you agree? Would you say, Danielle, you crazy and you making this up?
No, I truly put up a wall, and then, but I still figure it out. You see what I'm saying? But I be stuck for a little bit till I figure it out. But then sometimes you get yourself so stuck that you can't figure that shit out for real.
Yeah. And you can figure it out, but something, when I think about, what was that, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. So when I think about where you were and where you are today, and us as friends, we have come a long way, and we constantly would tell ourselves that we were okay. Maybe we said that we were good enough. We were not good enough.
Right.
Maybe we told ourselves that the healing is too slow. We need to be like everyone else, and we need to look and do how we think people should tell us how we should show up. And so being stuck in that place at that moment when you and I met, how did that make you feel? Knowing that you had a business, you was trying to take care of your kids, you was going through a very tumultuous time. Come to find out we worked at the same place,
right,
at different locations at the same company. So tell me, in that moment, what was really going through your mind?
Well, y'all know I don't have nothing. So back in the day, you know what I'm saying, I was working this job for 12 years, and then, I ain't gonna say that because that's racist, but working this job, and then this girl just kept on doing stuff, and then when I would report her, because I'm not gonna do your work and my work, the fuck you thought this was? But anyway, I got fired from my job, so I got a severance package from the job, and then I met Danielle. Well, I didn't know her, but then I had to tell her and reflect on where I was in like the lowest point of my life. And I don't like talking about like my personal things to people, so I have to trust you in order to like really talk to you about that stuff. So she helped me at like the lowest point of my life. So I feel like when people say things about your friends or judge people off of things, that I don't like that, because like this girl has been here to help me through like real trials and tribulations that I don't speak about, that we don't have to talk about. She know what she did, and I know what she did for me too. But I love her, and I was stuck. and I had to find my way out of no way, basically.
Okay. So when you think about being stuck, because
Mm-hmm.
I think about another part of me being stuck is that I can do it all.
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably the both of us, we look at each other and we say we're super moms. And I'm sure the listeners out there may have expressed or felt this way as well, is that you feel like you can do it all,
Right.
right? And when you feel like that, you feel like you can wear this badge of honor because, oh, I'm doing it all.
Mm-hmm.
But really what's happening underneath that is exhaustion,
Mm-hmm.
it's burnout, you feel resentful. And a lot of times I felt resentful as I went through this time, a period of trying to figure out my identity. But I really did not know who I was, where I wanted to go, and it really kept me in a place of darkness. And so what I realized is that wearing the badge of honor of someone who does it all keeps you stuck.
Mm. Okay.
It keeps you stuck
Mm-hmm.
because you're afraid to ask. Because you said to me, and what I've heard you say multiple times is, Danielle, I don't like asking for help,
Mm-mm.
right?
Mm-mm.
But just because you don't ask for help, that keeps you stuck in a place, what I would say, of trying to feel like you can show up and you can just be all these things, but then it burns you out, right?
Right.
So could you tell the listeners a time where you really felt that you could do it all and you did not feel comfortable asking or delegating something to someone?
I don't mind delegating. But I just don't like asking for help. And I mean, that's for anything, like anything.
But why though? Tell the listeners why, because it's deeper rooted than I just don't like asking for help. It's deeper than that. So remember, we're on the Naked Podcast where we tell the truth, the lies, and the untold stories. So tell the listeners, why is it that you don't like asking for help?
Okay, and I've said this in therapy, and she was like, "That's crazy." I feel like when you ask for help, sometimes it makes you look weak, and people say that that's crazy. But I feel like when people look at you like, "Oh, she does this, she got this together, she got why does she need any help if she can do all these things for herself?" And sometimes when you ask the wrong people for help, they throw it back in your face. So I just prefer not to ask for your damn help.
Okay.
I'd rather go without than to ask someone for the help and then you throw it back in my face. So I'd rather just go without.
Okay. But I think in addition to that, when I think about if you had to ask me that question, I would say that the lies that we tell ourselves to keep us stuck just doesn't pop up, right?
Right.
I believe that it really deals with the culture, the family patterns, and really the trauma that we experience or we have experienced. And I think that plays a lot into why we stay so stuck in our own way. I think I've said to you, Shantice, get out your own way.
You have a bunch of times.
Yeah, because what we do, we tend to think that because we think we know it all, we really don't know what we don't know until we don't know it.
That's true.
Right? And so I think it's so important to remember a couple things, that we cannot live our lives through social media. Social media amplifies the lies that we tell ourselves because we're told that we should show up like everyone else on social media.
True.
And I think I've said, Shantice, get off damn social media. You can't see me. Listen, did I come back?
Yeah.
So I think that is just so important to remember. But let's jump back and really think about, how do you break the pattern of trying to not remain stuck? What are some things that you think that our listeners could do to really think about how to get unstuck? What are some patterns that we can break?
Oh no, you start that off, because I ain't even broke mine yet. I'm working on it though, y'all.
Okay, so tell the listeners, what are you working on? Tell us what you're working on to break the pattern of being stuck.
Oh God, y'all ready for this? Okay, I am working on getting rid of men. And I ain't turning into no dyke, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just getting rid of men for right now.
See you, bye.
I also am working on weeding out my friends. I am finding out my friends who are really for me, people that show up just to party, people that just want to be around just to be seen. I'm just tired. Like, I'm tired of people. If you don't really want to be in my life to help me grow and to actually see me doing good and we can just bounce things off of each other, I don't need you. And I just feel like all that partying and shit I used to do, I'm tired of it. Like, tired of it. I'm 40, y'all. I just turned 40. Yeah. Oh yeah, I had a party. Danielle gave me a good party, y'all. And Tasia, because I don't want her to cuss me out later. But I had a good party. And I'm tired of partying, y'all. For real. And I never thought I would say that. And a bitch threw all of her alcohol away the other day. That's another thing I'm working on. Less drinking. Yes.
So did the alcohol keep you stuck?
Yes, because you know one thing about me, a drink, I'm gonna have it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things that you're working on that has kept you stuck and you breaking the pattern. I think one thing that I would even share with the listeners is that you have to recognize that you're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that you have recognized through your process of grief, pain, trauma that you have been stuck?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing to breaking the pattern is really realizing and admitting that you're stuck. The other thing is realizing procrastination. That's one big thing I think for me is that I always wait till the last minute to get things done. Or I'm always procrastinating and says I can wait till the last minute because I can work better when I'm under pressure.
Me too.
And that's another thing that I've told myself that has kept me stuck, that I could be so much more productive if I do things ahead of time and plan for what my week or what the next 2 weeks or days should look like.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing too is stop trying to be a people pleaser.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I find that I have a very difficult time telling people no because I want to give, I want to help. And what that has led to is a huge burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that you're a people pleaser?
I am. See?
So that's keeping you stuck.
I am. But like I said, over the last over the last 3 weeks, I just feel like I really had to face some hard things. And I had to make some decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I called a couple people that I really trust, and I told them what's going on in my personal life. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like they actually, I'm gonna help you do this. I'm gonna help you do that. And at this time in my life, what I'm going through right now, I actually wanted the help. I needed the help. You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
look, as my daughter calls me,
it's like you want the help. I took the help, and I finally got what I needed. So I'm excited about that, and I just feel like, I'm weeding and seeding people out,
right.
And I'm not being funny to anybody. I'm just kind of fading away from certain things that I have done all my life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm tired of it. I want to do different shit.
So during this process of identifying the things that, you know, you're breaking the pattern, and like I said, the alcohol, all of the things, the partying, the realizing that you're a people pleaser, at what point have you ever journaled? Like, what do you do in the morning to reset your mind and have a mindset that allows you to go through your day?
So, I do like affirmations. I ain't got time to sit here and tell y'all them. But I say little affirmations, you know what I'm saying, in the mirror and stuff like that. And then I have positive people around me that send me text messages all day, like, hey, thinking about you, you know, do this, do that, and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I have changed. I can see the change. And, you know, a lot of people have texted me and said that they have seen the change that I never thought would come.
But it took you a minute to get here, right? And we can be truthful, right? Because we're being transparent, we're telling the truth. So do you think because you were so close to your mom that prevented you from really stepping into your place of greatness because she always saved you?
Hell yeah. Everybody that know me in this world know I was a Shirley's girl, baby. Yes. Now, I paid my own bills. No, I'm really fucked up. I paid my own bills, but my mama did everything else for me and my baby. Yes, Lord.
Yes. So that trauma has helped you get to a point or a place of really trying to break this pattern of feeling stuck, but also being able to utilize your therapy, your counseling, your journaling, your meditation, right? But also telling yourself the truth. So when you're not okay, saying to yourself, you're not okay.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I think the listeners, that's one thing I would say when we saying, you know, girl, tell the truth. Telling the truth is identifying and recognizing when you're not okay. And saying that you need a moment. saying that you need to be by yourself. All of those things are not selfish. They're really things that's going to help you identify how to become unstuck. But one of the most important things that I would say also, Shantice, and I think you probably have said this to me, is finding accountability partners, right? Accountability partners are so important that it really helps you identify and navigate, how do I really stop lying to myself? And I remember a couple weeks ago, I've been going through some very tumultuous times personally, and I put on my Facebook page that there was one time that I felt defeated. And someone said to me, Danielle, you can't say that you feel defeated in the same time of having faith, right? And I said, but I can, because I really in that moment felt defeated. And I think that's so important to remember, that it's okay to say that you're not okay. It's okay to say when you're defeated. It's okay to say that you want to be left alone. And I think about that, and even some of the affirmations that you mentioned, you can't tell us all of your affirmations,
Right.
but could you share with the listeners, what are some affirmations that you constantly tell yourself, or you know that it's important to remind yourself of? Give us one or two affirmations. Yeah, I'm gonna push it to you. Look, because we gotta tell the people the truth, the lies, and the untold stories.
My affirmations to myself is, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm not keep it a buck. Go to work and make that money, take care of your kids, okay? I try to stay positive. Don't cuss nobody out. Don't put your hands on nobody. And my biggest thing now, because like over the last 2 weeks, I had to call people in the morning, FaceTime them, ugly crying, because I was going through something so bad. And then they would tell me, you have to have faith. And I told, matter of fact, Tish, my nail tech, we talked about this. And she said, you need to pray. And I told her, I don't know how to pray anymore, because after my mom died, I just gave up. Because I felt like I prayed so hard for her to live, and it didn't happen. So I hadn't been to church. I hadn't prayed. So I felt like all of my blessings were I was just being passed or overlooked because I wasn't praying. But she told me, you know what I'm saying? Like, since your mom died, you have not been without. So it's just like, I need to get myself back in a place where I need to just start back believing in God, because he's never left me, and I have not been without. Yeah, so that's my biggest one right there.
So would you call that a truth? A truth that you can embrace?
A real truth. Yes.
That is major to hear you share that and be so vulnerable to say that. As we think about the lies, think about the truth. And the truth, what I hear you saying to your listeners, is that it's really important to embrace the fact that you are healing and you can have faith, and you have not been without you up in this picture. Yeah. So I think that's so important, Shantice. But one thing, one of the affirmations that I constantly would write down is, I deserve healing, clarity, and joy.
Okay.
Right? And so when I think about the affirmation of how do you heal through the pain, the trauma, and all of the things that we've experienced that we keep saying we're not good enough, healing takes too long, this is, I'm okay. It's really also embracing the truth and utilizing the affirmations that you tell yourself. Another one that Shantice, that just came to mind, that I think we said this too before, is that I used to tell myself I'm too much for people.
Yes.
And that lie made me shrink my light and my voice in meetings, right? Or how I showed up, and I would downgrade my ideas because I was like, people must think I'm too much. But the truth of that is that you should not downgrade your ideas, your voice, or say that you're too much, because you have to remember that you have a passion, right? And that passion as a gift, you have to show up and stop apologizing. And that's one thing that I would say when even meeting you, Shantice, to stop apologizing for being you. Right? People be like, oh, Shantice is too much. And you quickly go on Facebook and say, get off my page and say whatever you want. But I think what's important to remember is that these kinds of truths set you free, right? They really, if we really stop, if we start naming the truth, and then we write down the opposition statement, and then we begin to practice, we can become unstuck. And so what that really means is that you're able to tell who you are and show up authentically you, because you are no longer telling yourself lies.
Right.
You're embracing the truth of what it really truly means to be able to take a moment to identify who you are. So what is one thing, as we kind of almost wrap up this episode of Girl, Tell the Truth, the lies we tell ourselves, and how they keep us stuck. What is one naked truth that you want to tell yourself that you have not told yourself? Well, there's one truth that you want to tell yourself. You've been thinking about it, but you just kept telling yourself, you was lying to yourself. And then you was like, you know what? That is a lie. I need to tell myself the truth.
I feel like I just talked about it.
You
Yeah, with not praying and stuff, and just feeling like I'm just, I don't know. I really don't even know. For real. To be honest, it's just like I really gave up my faith in God. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like I just need to reel myself back in, because I feel like I could have been so much more in life, better in life with things if I had been a better believer, maybe.
Okay.
But I'm not, all y'all church people ain't better believers or not, but I ain't saying y'all better than me. But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Let's not sit here and be crazy. But what I'm saying is sometimes when you don't show, you know what I'm saying, that faith that you know that you have. I've been baptized and everything, but you wouldn't think so. But I just feel like
the truth, the
I would have been better or further
story.
along in life. You know what I'm saying? And this nigga that I got my kids by, I would have been further along in life if I hadn't messed with that nigga. That's my real truth. That's my real truth. I sat down here and I realized that the other fucking day. But I love my kids. But I feel like if I hadn't got wrapped up with that bullshit, I would have been so much further and so much better in my life. That's it. That's it.
So okay.
That's it.
That's
it.
So you know, we're gonna talk about this real quick.
That's it, baby.
Is that really the truth that you want to believe?
That is the truth. That is the truth. Because if I hadn't went through all the shit that I had been through, I could have probably had a husband. I probably could have had a house. I could have probably had everything that I envisioned myself having. But I fixated so much of my life trying to fix and help this person that I just lost so much of myself. And I feel like if I hadn't have done that stretch of my life, I probably could have been here versus still trying to find my way. So that is I talked about that in my church the other day, and that's crazy. That's it.
Okay. I'm with you, right? But what I would also say, right? Because I believe that is your truth. You talk about that, and that's part of the trauma and pain that you have experienced. But you know, I've always got to say, Shantice, had you not gone through that, you would not have experienced the things that you needed to experience to make you the person that you are today.
That's true.
Right? So as we think through this and all of the pain and trauma that we both have experienced, a lot of times I'm a true believer that God puts us through things because he already knows what our life is going to look like. He already our story is already written. And if we don't go through the things that we know that's going to make us stronger, sometimes you don't see the experience or the truth and what you needed to learn if you don't go through it.
Right.
So I applaud you for telling the truth, right? To saying this is the truth that I live in. And I would even say, like, if I had to tell myself a truth, it's constantly saying to myself that I'm worthy. I know that my listeners are like, yeah, really, Danielle?
We're gonna break her ass out next episode, y'all. We're gonna get some nitty gritty out of her, okay? Because I'm tired of all this professional bullshit, okay?
No, I would say one of the things that has kept me stuck, and I told you that I wasn't worthy enough, right? And so that tumultuous experience of going through corporate America.
You know, I just learned that word the other day from watching Fatal Attraction. From Fatal Attraction, I learned that word. You were in a tumultuous relationship. And I was like, God damn, what that was going through? That shit was crazy.
I think during that time, not only did I lose myself, I really really was in a place where I did not want to be. I was debating, like, do I want to stay in my marriage? Do I really want to take care of my kids? It was a lot that was happening, trying to leave a job that did not value you as a person. And then trying to figure out entrepreneurship. It's not for the faint of heart.
Right.
And having to do that for so long, some may or may not know, like, I went back into the workforce in 2023 because entrepreneurship became entrepreneurship. Like they say, life was life and life was life. And I knew that I needed to do something that was going to continue to help me see the light at the end of the tunnel, knowing that life was happening, right? And still having to show up. And it was difficult. So when I say, you know, I'm not worthy, it was one of those things. It's like, am I doing enough? Am I able to continue to show up? And you try to be all these different people. And I really struggled.
So when you say you felt like you weren't being worthy, when you said about your marriage, did you feel like you weren't worthy to be married, or what do you mean?
I didn't feel like I was worthy to have anything that came my way, whether it was my husband who tried his best to support me in the midst of me feeling like I was unseen, because I was so wrapped up in the titles. I was so wrapped up in, you know, being this everything that to everyone, and then not feeling worthy enough that I was being a great mother. Right? So it becomes the imposter syndrome, where you're really talking yourself out of what's really meant to be. And you're self-sabotaging your own life because you're trying to be this people pleaser, and you're telling yourself all of these lies. And in actuality, I'm sitting at home and I was depressed, didn't want to get out of bed. So part of that is what I mean, where I didn't feel worthy.
Right. Okay.
Right. So, you know, sometimes I think when you're thinking that you're okay, and you're telling yourself that you're okay, you're like, well, God, why are you giving me this? Why I don't deserve this.
I always say I'm not one of your strongest soldiers, Lord. Don't put me in that line, no ma'am.
But we have to be, right? Because I always say that we can't have fear and faith at the same time, because they don't operate in the same sentence. They
and
just
I feel
don't.
like that's why I didn't get the things that I deserve, because it's just like I want it, I pray about it, but I only prayed when I needed something. You see what I'm saying? And I got to stop doing that, because, you know, what is that? He's an on-time God. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he was on time last week, won't he?
He was on time.
He was on time last week. Yes, Lord, he was on time. You know what I'm saying? So what happened to me last week, I ain't telling nobody yet. But I just feel like I needed something. My back was against the wall, and God came through for me. Like where a person couldn't do for me what I needed done, God came through for me. So I can't do nothing but believe.
And he's always on time. And he's not there when you need him, right? But he's on time.
Yes.
And so I think as we think about the things that we tell ourselves is, remember that we are worthy. We are deserving of everything that we should receive. And when we manifest and we tell ourselves and we believe what we tell ourselves, is that if you speak it, believe it, and write it, it'll come. And so one thing that I take away from what you just said to us and the listeners is, always be faithful. And we can't just pray or ask for things when we need it. We need to do it every day and make it a habit, and being consistent in everything that we do. And so as we wrap up this episode, we want to say thank you again to all of our listeners to episode 2, where this is the Naked Podcast with Danni and Shanni, where we tell the truth, the lies, and the untold stories. Girl, tell the truth and stop telling yourself the lies, and stop being stuck. If you want to continue to follow us, you can follow us on the Naked Podcast. We're on Facebook. We're online. You can subscribe. We're on all major platforms as well. So please subscribe, download. But we actually look forward to seeing you on the next episode, episode 3, that will be coming out. We will share all those news and times and dates with you. But we would like to say thank you for tuning in to the Naked Podcast with Danni and Shanni. It's been amazing, and have a great one. Bye-bye.
Welcome to the Naked Podcast with Danni and Shanni. We are going to say the things that you are too afraid to say. We want you to tune in, listen, unwind, because we're going to be telling you the truth, the lies, and the untold stories. Buckle your seats and let's go.